Hello, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking through my #1 favorite pick from different drugstore brands. I've done part 1 and part 2 of this series like 10 months, 11 months ago, where I picked my #1 favorite product from a bunch of different drugstore brands. And now I'm going to continue on with that series with some that I have not yet talked about, some smaller brands, or some that I've just left out. I will link part 1 and part 2 to these videos down below if you're interested in going back to watch them, and then let me know if there's any brands that I've missed. I feel like over the course of these 3 videos, I've covered most of all of the drugstore brands, but if there's any I missed, let me know and maybe there will be a part 4. All right, first things first, Honest Beauty. I'm surprised I have not yet talked about Honest Beauty in one of these videos because I love the brand. When I had to think of my #1 favorite product from them, there's a lot of products I love from Honest. But the long-standing all-time favorite has to be this blush. This is their cream blush in the shade Rose Pink. This is probably, if I had to pick my #1 favorite cream blush formula, it's this one, and it's this shade. It's just such a wearable, beautiful everyday color that I find is flattering on so many different people. If you're not a big blush person, if you're new to blush, this is just very soft, very subtle, and easy to wear with almost any makeup look. It's not a huge statement. It leaves a nice dewiness to the skin, but it also lasts a really long time. I love the new packaging. It almost feels like tin, and then it has a little compact mirror in here, which is actually quite big. This comes in other shades, but I think part of what I love so much about this formula is this specific shade. So 10 out of 10 recommend if you are in the market for a cream blush. This is my #1 go-to recommendation. I'm also including a lot more skincare brands in this video because I'm really into skincare and there's so many different brands. I feel like having some top picks from skincare brands would be really helpful. First one is Naturium. They're sold at Target. I love a lot of the products from this brand. But my #1 is the multi-peptide moisturizer. My skin has been kind of going through it, getting used to a retinol. So in the morning, I want a little bit heavier of a moisturizer than what I typically go for. Anytime I have someone with drier skin or normal skin asking me what's a richer moisturizer I can use underneath my makeup in the morning, this is my go-to recommendation. It's somehow a really nice and rich formula, but it's so easy to wear under makeup. It's really, really hydrating, but it almost acts like a primer to whatever foundation you're gonna lay down. It makes your skin feel so baby smooth. I love the pump packaging. It just overall looks like a really high-end product. It has peptides, it has vitamin C and panthenol. So just a really high quality moisturizer with a nice rich feeling. But also not too thick to where you can't wear it under your makeup. I actually just repurchased this, which is what gave me the idea to film this video, was this product. So that's how much I love it. On the topic of skincare, this is kind of a cheat because it's 2 products, but it's the same kind of product, so I'm gonna go with it. If you told me I could only use 1 brand of face wash for the rest of my life, it would be hands down the easiest decision I've ever made. And it's Roche Posay. These are just unmatched in terms of quality, in terms of ingredients, in terms of the way they make my skin feel. Unmatched. I was on the CeraVe Cetaphil train for quite a while, but you guys, these are the best cleansers on the market. Let's start with this one. This is my PM face wash. This is made for normal to oily skin. It's a purifying foaming cleanser. It's soap-free, sulfate-free, fragrance-free, and it has ceramides and niacinamide in it. It feels like you're really, really getting a deep clean. It feels like you're getting all of your makeup off. I use this obviously after I use my cleansing oil or my cleansing balm, but it feels like you're getting everything off of your skin, but it doesn't in any way feel stripping. If you have dry skin, let me put you on to your new best friend. This is the Hydrating Gentle Cleanser. Same claims here, but this feels like a really soft, milky texture, but it still feels like you're getting your face clean. A lot of the times those milkier textures can kind of feel like you're just rubbing lotion all over your face, but this one feels like you're actually cleansing your skin. It leaves it feeling so soft. After you finish washing your face, it feels like you just put a moisturizer on. I use both, so I use this one at night when I'm trying to make sure I get everything off from the day, and then I use this one in the morning. There's been periods of time, especially as my skin's been adjusting to this retinol, where I've used this twice a day. Now that my skin's getting a little bit better, I've gone back to using only this in the morning and this in the evening. Sometimes I totally skip face wash in the morning. I'll splash my face with some water or do absolutely nothing. But when I do wash my face in the morning, this is the one that I use. So dynamic duo, and my 2 favorite products from this brand, which says a lot because I love a lot of the Roche Posay products, including their sunscreen. All right, next up is Pacifica. They're a cleaner brand at the drugstore, and I've been experimenting with a lot of their products lately, including this one. This is the Pacifica Fluffy Blush. I have it in the shade Sunset, and this is another really beautiful cream blush. This one has a little bit more of a moussey texture than the Honest. This has a little bit more of a matte finish and it's more sheer. This is how it looks next to the Honest one. So this one, like I said, is more sheer. This one has more pigment. The Pacifica is a lot more matte, whereas the Honest maintains some of that radiance even once it's dried down. If you have really dry skin, I don't know that you would love the Pacifica, I'd go Honest. But if you have more oily skin or you like more of a matte finish to your cream blushes, I feel like Pacifica is a really great one to try. Overall, from the Pacifica brand, there's not a ton of products that I love, but this one I do really like. Next up is Juvias Place. I'm sure some of you can guess what I'm gonna say here, but my favorite product from them is this one. This is their bronzer palette. They also have a blush palette, which is really nice, but this one has a nice big mirror, and these are so beautiful. I've talked about them so many times. I love that they're a totally matte finish, that they blend really easily, and the color range is exceptional. I have the shade Tan, and I mostly dip into this unless I really wanna go for a bronzy look, then I'll use this color, but I love the warmth of this tone. I would say of all of the completely matte drugstore bronzers, this one and the Maybelline one are probably my two favorites. Next up is EcoTools, and there are so many brushes, like this brush right here, that I swear by EcoTools. Their eyeshadow brushes, their face brushes, so many, so this was hard. But my number one favorite makeup sponge, drugstore, high-end, from anywhere, is the EcoTools one. So this has to be my number one pick from them. It's the EcoTools Bio Blender. First of all, the shape. I love this bridge right here, this flat edge, because it's perfect for creating, like if you screw up your wing, if you make your eyeshadow go out too far, you can really get the line. If you line this up with your lower lash line, you can really perfect that line right here. It kind of maps it for you, whereas the ones that have a pointy tip, like this one, kind of have to make sure that you're tapping in a straight line and it's up for user error, whereas with this one, you just need to place it in the right spot and then boom, one tap and you've got that perfect line. They get really big, they're super soft, they're eco-friendly. You're supposed to be able to plant these. I don't know if anyone's done that, but the shape, the texture, the way that this blends my foundation just makes it the best sponge on the market in my opinion. And speaking of tools, the next brand that I'm surprised I haven't done before is Real Techniques. My favorite brushes that I own are from Real Techniques and some from e.l.f., but mostly Real Techniques. I think a lot of you know what I'm gonna say here, but it is these brushes. This is their buffing brush and their contour brush. This is unfortunately only sold in a set. I believe it's called their Flawless Base brush set. I'll link it down below. It comes with two other brushes that I don't typically use. One's a concealer brush and then one's just like a flat foundation brush, which looks kind of like a paintbrush. It's not my favorite, but you could use it for like face masks. But these two brushes, I would pay a lot of money for these brushes. Are my favorite brushes I own for foundation and concealer. This one, I'm sure you've seen me use it many times for foundation, for cream blush, for cream bronzer. And then this is my favorite concealer brush. It just blends out the product perfectly. You can also use this if you have a more petite face. You can also use this for cream blush and cream bronzer. Also great for cream highlighters. If you've ever asked me a question about what brush is my favorite, if you've ever DM'd me about makeup brushes, you have heard of these. So I won't go on, but 10 out of 10. All right, next up is another skincare brand from Target, and this is called Versed or Versed, I'm not sure. But my favorite product from them is also a moisturizer. This is called the Dew Point Moisturizing Gel Cream. It's vegan, cruelty-free, fragrance-free, dye-free, paraben, silicone, sulfate, you name it, free. If you have oily skin and you want an underneath your makeup and moisturizer, this is the one. It is such a lightweight gel consistency that feels super, super light on your skin. You don't wanna skip moisturizer if you have oily skin, but you wanna go with one that's not really occlusive. It's not going to add to the oiliness, but it's gonna give your skin the hydration that it needs. So this, when my skin is feeling a lot more oily, is one of my go-tos. This one and the Neutrogena Hydra Boost, whereas the Naturium is more for drier skin types. So if you're looking for an underneath your makeup moisturizer, one of these two, depending on your skin type, highly recommend. And then next up is Byoma. Byoma is also a new skincare brand at Target. I worked with them on like a TikTok campaign, so they sent me all of their products. I tested all of them out, and this is not sponsored. I'm not obligated to say anything on YouTube. But they sent me all their products and I tested them for weeks. And so I have fully tested the entire range. And my favorite product from all of Byoma, I've spoken about before, is their Balancing Face Mist. This has a triceramide complex, ceramides, cholesterol, and fatty acids to really restore your skin barrier. And it also has glycerin. It's just an all-around great product. The mist is fantastic. You want to move it as you spray it, but this is my go-to toner. I get a lot of questions about toner, and this is my favorite one that I've tried in quite a long time, and definitely my favorite product from this brand. And then speaking of newer releases, newer brands at Target, Ashley Tisdale recently launched I think she's calling it like a wellness line. It's called Being Frenshe, and I picked up a bunch of different products. I tested out a bunch of their different fragrances, and this was my favorite one. This is the Citrus Amber, which is really not like me. I don't typically like citrusy scents, but I really like this. This is supposed to be used for hair, body, and linen, and it's supposed to awaken and uplift. They also have like a lavender scent that's supposed to be for relaxing and restoring. I got the hair oil in the lavender scent. I don't love that one quite as much. This one I haven't sprayed it on my body, but just kind of around the room. I do enjoy it. It's not my favorite scent I've ever smelled in my entire life, but it's my favorite scent out of the Frenshe collection. And that is everything. Again, I will link below the other 2 videos that I did. So if you want to watch them all at once, you can see my #1 pick from all of those different brands. But I think we rounded it out nicely with these. So if I'm missing some, let me know. Let me know what you guys love from these brands. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.